One of the viewers on my channel asked me yesterday about my driving style. Why does it change so much when I hop from my transport truck into this Mazda here? And to me this seems like such an interesting topic that I decided to do like a video response on top of what I already wrote. But basically, you know, when you drive a truck, it's a very restrictive type of driving. You know, you can drive only at a certain speed because fuel is expensive, and you are highly visible to enforcement personnel. You know, you're big, right? And you have to be careful. So it's always you're driving, you know, you have to use your willpower. You always drive with restraint. You have to watch your trailer wheels, you know. If you have a, you know, hazardous load, or if you have oversized load, you have to go into the scale when it's open, right? So, and you have to mark your logbook each time you stop, even to take a leak or buy coffee, right? So you kind of always under the microscope, you know, when you're driving a big truck. And of course the biggest expense and the biggest problem or reason why I drive slow is the fuel, because you know the big truck, it's 6 miles per gallon with a heavy load. Like for example, the one I just brought to Simcoe, Ontario, was about 40,000 pounds like total, and I'm pretty sure I burned about 6 miles. I did only 6 miles to the gallon, you know. So that's expensive. Now compare that to Mazda 3, where there's no control. Well, of course there's police, right? But I mean, I'm not talking about like breaking rules and stuff like that, but just compare. When you're a car driver, you totally can, you know, ignore all the scales, all the logbooks, you know, like that's what whenever I drive a car, I feel like it's freedom, you know. To me, a lot of guys don't understand probably, like that drive only cars. But when you jump from a big truck into a small Mazda or any small car, and you become a private driver, not a commercial driver, you can do, I don't know, compared to the truck driving, you can do anything, right? So you can carry alcohol in your car, right? Well, if it's closed, a closed container. In commercial truck, you're not allowed to have any alcohol inside, even when you're having it's a time off, right? In a car, you don't have to deal with logbooks, scales, like I mentioned, and because you're small, you know, you attract much less attention. You know, especially you are a car. You have a car like mine. You know, there's a whole bunch of these Mazdas and everything, and Toyota and Corollas around. Like just a regular Japanese car, and mine is a 4-door car, right? I don't stick out. If I was driving, you know, one of those monster, you know, sports cars, like Mustang or I don't know, Camaros, you know, they do attract attention. And actually quite a few times I saw a Mustang with a V8, which probably has like 2 times the horsepower of my car, drive slow, because the guy knows that, or the gal knows that, you know, they're being watched, you know. So it's not freedom. Like the freedom is in a small car like this, especially with a manual transmission. And when I tweaked it a little bit, you know, by you know, upgrading the airbox, right? I have the muffler, so there's more power now, and especially with the 5-speed manual, which is just a joy to drive, you know, to shift. It's so small, and it's a synchro transmission. That's another reason why driving the car makes so much, you know, creates so much fun for me, is because it's a synchro transmission. I don't have to worry if the gears will grind, if I'm not at a proper RPM, right? In a big truck, I have to be right on the money. Otherwise, you know, I can damage the transmission, and there'll be that grinding noise. And that's why guys ask me always, like, why do you use your clutch? Well, I'm using the clutch, that's why, because I know for sure that in certain conditions, let's say from gear 5 to gear 6, especially when I'm going up, like a small hill, or maybe down. But I know that 5, let's say 5 high to 6 low, I always have trouble. I cannot find the proper RPM just to float the gears, you know, and it just gets stuck, and the whole, you know, truck shudders, and it's really bad. So that's why you hear that squeaking noise, because no matter how much grease I put in that clutch linkage, it still makes that. And that's why I use the clutch in a big truck in certain gears only. Like here, of course I use the clutch, right? But there's no double shifting, right? That's another thing with the manual transmission. So no double shifting. It's synchronized transmission. You don't have to worry about the RPM. It's kind of like automatic. And the shifter is like this size, right? Now I'm gonna show you. Now look at the shifter. So this is my hand, right? So if I close my hand around the shifter, look, my thumb is on top of the shifter. Now compare that with with the huge stick I have in my truck, and you know the movement here, the movement is pretty small from first to third, to second to third to fourth to fifth. It's like, you know, it's like this much, right? But in a big truck, you know, I have to move my hand like this, you know, like you know, semicircle. And that's why I'm driving fast in my Mazda. So I really enjoy this little, small, fast, economical Japanese-made car. Thanks for watching.